I will call the court to order. We've got several items on here. I'm going to try to get through it pretty quick. At this time, I would like to ask Pastor Jim Absher if he would say the invocation.
Let's pray. Merciful and gracious and kind, loving Heavenly Father, Father God, we thank you for another beautiful day. We thank you for the blessing of life. Lord, I ask you this day to bless all whom duty would bind me to pray for this world over. Lord, I pray for this court, and I pray for each and every member here, and I pray for everyone that's here today. I pray your blessings upon each and every one of them. I pray, Lord, you'll forgive us when we fail you, Lord. Go with us and help us to always do the right thing and making decisions for the people of Pike County. Lord, just be with us and watch over us. We love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name I pray, and amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Absher.
Ready?
We have a quorum and we are ready to proceed. I would like to ask my dad, who is a U.S. Marine Vietnam veteran, if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scott. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Absher.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. One item that is not on here that I'm going to do first is we are waiting, the PBA is waiting. We're going to try to get the tax bills out earlier because it just gives people more time to pay it. Really, at some point, the legislature needs to find a way to allow people to make, like, periodic payments or, you know, most people, you know, they get hit with Christmas, and then have to pay property taxes. And if you have a December birthday, you're paying your car tags too, or boats or whatever. But since I've been judge, we have not raised property taxes 1 cent. And sometimes people will say my property taxes went up. Well, if that's the case, it would have to be because there was an assessment, or because some other entity raised the tax rate. But since I've been judge, the health department's not raised it. The library boards, in fact, cut theirs by 30%, by a third, close to a third. The school rates have gone up, but I think now the county may have even lowered theirs some. So, I mean, all the different taxing districts we have, I think, the extension office that we're waiting on, in Pikeville City Board of Education. And then we'll have another meeting to acknowledge the Pike County Board this Friday at 3. So, with that being said, it will be my motion that the fiscal court for this tax year, for the 24 tax year, keep the rates the same as they were last year, at 18 cents per $100 of real property, 25 cents per $100 on personal property, 14 cents for vehicle, and the fire protection would be 2 cents per $100. Again, those would be no change from the previous years. And I'd just like to remind folks that before I became judge, in the 4 years before, the property taxes went up twice and an occupational tax was put on. We've lived within our means, got a lot of stuff done with no tax increases. So I'm proud of that. We know people are hurting. And let me just I want to give the folks out there just some historical information. Most people think that all the taxes that are paid when you get a property tax bill that goes to the fiscal court. It doesn't. Your property taxes on your tax bill The Pike County Board of Education and the Pikeville Independent Schools taxes are on there. That's the lion's share of it. So if you live in the city school district, I think this year or last year it was 74 cents per $100 of assessed value. In the county, it was 86 cents per $100 of assessed value. By comparison, the fiscal court is only 18 cents. The library district in 2022, it was 13.5 cents per $100 assessed value. And we have my friend Chet Hogston here, who is on that board. The rate now is 10.5 cents per $100 assessed value. So that's a substantial cut that we owe a big thank you to the library district for. In 22, let's see here. The Extension Service has slightly cut their rate. The Public Health Board has not changed for years. And Soil and Water Conservation has not gone up in years either. I do want to just mention, by way for the fiscal court, in 2013, the tax rate was 12.6 cents per $100 of assessed value. It went up, it actually went down in 15 to 12.3 cents, and then in 16, it was raised to 13.6, and then in 2017 to 18 cents per $100 of assessed value. So in that period of time, that was 2 increases as well as the occupational tax. We've not raised it. So it's my motion that we continue the tax rates at the current level as they were in 2022. And as I previously stated, it will be 18 cents per $100 for real, 25 cents per $100 on personal property, 14 cents on vehicles, and 2 cents for fire protection district. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Atkins. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Now, the next item is acknowledgment of receipt of the audit of the sheriff's settlement for the 2022 taxes for the period of September 1st, 22 to August 31st, 2023. Frank, I think you reviewed that, is that correct? And everything was in perfect order, is that correct? I want to thank Sheriff Scott for his work in another clean audit. So is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the audit of the sheriff's settlement for the 2022 taxes as previously stated?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Absher. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. The next item is acknowledgment of receipt of the Pike County Detention Center's annual commissary report. Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scott. Any question or discussion? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. Next item is acknowledgment of receipt of Pike County Public Library District tax rates. It is my understanding that the rate for personal property, it was again cut for the second year in a row to 10 cents per $100 of assessed value, and to, it says here, it's 12.5 cents. Can I see that sheet? Per $100 of assessed value, which was a very minor increase on the personal property side. Is that correct, Chet? lowered both, so that number may be wrong. Well, the rate, because it says here, Chet, and I was asking about it, it's got 12.5 for personal property. We had that as different, slightly lower than that last year, do you know? Okay. We've got the rates here, and we can always come back and double check that. But the letter from the district would be that the real property was adjusted down, again, and that the personal property rate was 12.5 for personal property. And then the motor vehicle tax is unchanged. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that would be, let me make sure I'm looking at this correctly. All right. All right. Is there a motion to acknowledge the library tax district rates as stated?
Motion.
We have Commissioner Absher with the motion. I'll make a second. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, would you grab Chet Hollister for me? Oh, yeah, I think, that's fine. He's gonna call on that, just to make sure. All right. The next item is approval of appointment to the Pike County Public Library District Board. It is my motion to reappoint Marvin Hensley to a new four-year term, which would expire on June 30th, 2028. Mr. Hensley is the current chairman of the board, is responsible for the taxes being cut, along with the other board members. So it would be my motion to reappoint Marvin Hensley to a four-year term on the library board that would expire on June 30th, 2028.
Second.
We have a motion by myself. We have a second by Commissioner Atkins. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Next item is the adoption of resolution authorizing the filing of the local government economic development House Bill 6 project proposal grant application for up to $80,000 to purchase 3 home delivery vehicles for the senior citizen program, directing the judge to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by DOG to carry it out, and authorizing the judge to act as the authorized correspondent. Sharon will prepare the application. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scott. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Next item is approval of an agreement for independent contractor maintenance agreement for the courthouse building, the detention center with Terry Rogers. This is just a renewal from the contract from last year, $2,000 per month. I'll make a motion on that. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Atkins. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. Next item is authorization to execute the transportation cabinet division of maintenance agreement for services to be performed in conjunction with government agencies. This is allow us to purchase. This is where we buy or have a right to buy salt up to 500 tons if we run short at $112.63 per ton with $1.42 per ton for handling and a one-time administrative fee of $97.15. This is where we can get salt from the state on an emergency basis, and we just reimburse us. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scott. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Judge, I'd like to just point out that purchase of the salt is always at registration.
Yeah, so it just gives us the option if they let us have it or if they've got it. So I'm hopeful that we won't have to buy any salt. I'm hopeful that we won't have to use any salt. sort of hopeful it doesn't get below 45 or 50 this winter, but, you know, we've really had some mild winters. Last year was pretty mild. But it does give us an option. Guess Fabian pretty soon we'll be starting to get they already started to work to make sure the solders and everything are working. All of our bins are full. All right, appreciate it. All right. So the next item is when we're gonna have trick or treat. Maybe the most controversial thing we've ever done here as part of the fiscal court was canceling trick or treat. Anyway, Coal Run is having their Halloween bash on Friday, October 18th. Pikeville's having their Nightmare on Main on Thursday, October 24th. And as of right now, I've not talked to the city manager about when they're gonna do it. We always try to coordinate this. Before we act on this, we can put this back on the agenda for the special meeting. I would like to talk to Reggie Hickman, the city manager, to see if they've set a date yet, so we're just on the same page. I don't want to have two separate trick or treats. Because as far as I'm concerned, one a year is, well, one a year is one too many.
That's plenty, ain't it?
But my 10-year-old would disagree with you, so. He would be all excited to have two or three of them. Anyway, we'll pass over this if there's no objection till we talk to the city to make sure we're on.
That's fine.
All right. Next item is awarding of bids. Greg, come on up. Bobby.
We had a bid opening on September 13th on bid number 34-2024 for three 2024 newer Outlander Sport all-wheel drive vehicles. These are vehicles that will be used by our senior citizens as part of the resolution that was just adopted. We had two bidders, Walters Mazda Mitsubishi of Pikeville. The total cost of three of the vehicles is $79,243.66, and Wallace Mitsubishi of Kingsport, Tennessee. Their total bid for the three vehicles is $84,472.50. These vehicles meet all the specifications that were put in the bid package. It's my recommendation that we award the bid to Walters Mazda Mitsubishi for a bid price of $79,243.66 and authorize the treasurer to issue a check for the payment.
All right. It is my motion that we award bid 34-2024 to Walters Mazda Mitsubishi for the senior citizen meal delivery vehicles for a sum of $79,243.66.
I'll second it, Judge.
Treasurer.
Second by Commissioner Scott. And as part of this motion, let me just add that this motion also is my motion is also allow the treasurer to issue payment for the same. So is there a second by Commissioner Scott?
Yeah, second.
All right. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Uh,
Any other
and-
business, Greg?
In our last fiscal court meeting, we bought three F-350 trucks for the road department. We discussed at that time that we did need to upfit those trucks with salters and plows. Owens is a company we deal with on most of that. They are on a Sourcewell contract. The plows are a cost of $8,295. The spreaders are at a cost of $6,695. To buy three plows and buy three spreaders, the total cost would be $44,970, and that's actually about $8,000 less than the Sourcewell price.
Baby, just a quick question. With these three new trucks for the road department, how does that put us in terms of snow plows and, you know, the condition of them? Because I know when I became judge, we had trucks that were rusting apart. You couldn't plow snow with them. And
Well, actually, out of the three, that's going to give us two extra trucks that we didn't have, because two of those trucks have gone to our special crew. So in other words, to get the special crew where they were going, we were borrowing trucks from other lots. But these two trucks now will give us two trucks that we didn't have. Whereas one of those trucks, we're taking one, we got a new truck, so we're taking one out of service. So actually, we'll be in a little bit better shape.
So one of these is, just remind the public that one of these is replacing a truck that's no longer,
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's
it
not-
was a truck that was, it was high maintenance. It was costing, quite a bit to keep it running. After I talked to, JJ and Darren over there, they told me that was the best plan, was just to go ahead and take that truck out of service. So, that's what we did.
hey, JJ, could you come up for a minute? I just wanna, could you come up to the table for just a minute? JJ, how are we in terms of our maintenance right now on the road department and, solid waste vehicles? Is the fleet in pretty good shape right now?
We are probably in the best shape that we've been in since I've been in at the garage.
And how long have you worked there?
24 year.
Since you've been there, has the county had has the county had this kind of equipment to work with?
Never since I've been over there. It's the best it's ever been.
And sometimes some of these Facebook warriors want to go in there and criticize us for buying stuff, but you can't take care of 1,000 miles of roads and pick up 17,000 garbage pickups a week with junk.
Exactly. And for a long time, we were throwing money into junk, is what it was. Work on it one day and then bring it back and work on it the next day.
I had one of my old bosses that used to be county attorney, always said, you don't throw good money after bad.
Right.
And I sort of agree with that, because we had that one garbage truck y'all called it the $2 million truck?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, $1 million Packer.
$1 million Packard. And a Packard that time was a couple $100,000. And this truck, Commissioner Absher, they had put, because you know how they track the expenses, they had put almost $1 million over the life of that truck in it. So you could have bought 4 new ones. Commissioner Atkins knows when he worked for Solid. You drove it.
I drove it.
Yeah. But we've got is the fleet safer now for the employees?
Yes, sir.
What about in terms of maintenance cost? Has the maintenance cost went down?
Considerably, very much.
Anything you all need over at the garage? I don't get to ask you that much, but is there anything you all need? Anything any big concerns on the fleet or anything?
We in pretty good shape. Like I said, this is the best that I've seen. We're down a mechanic now, because Fabian stole one of mine.
I was getting ready to say, he needs an
And I need a
employee.
mechanic, and, but other than that, we're on top of the game right now.
Well, if you need anything, keep up the good work. Hope your dad's doing better. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
sir. Appreciate it. Greg, so we've got these solders and plows and the lights for, the 3 trucks. And this is Owens Equipment, correct?
Yes.
So is there a motion to buy the equipment as stated under the Sourcewell contract, for the sum of $44,970, to equip these, 3 trucks with solders, spreaders, and plows?
I'll make a
motion.
Go ahead.
We have a motion by Commissioner Atkins, or second?
I'll second it, because I think we gotta have it. So,
Well, again, you got some people want to go on Facebook and criticize the county for buying this stuff, but you can't do the work if you don't have the equipment to do it with.
Right.
And, you don't haul garbage in wheelbarrows,
no.
and you can't you can't plow roads with a shovel. So, it's a public safety issue, something we need. Fabian's done a great job with the road department. And, so we have a motion second, right? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes, anything else? Greg?
Yes. Something we've had discussions about for quite some time is the condition of the flooring upstairs on the 4th floor in the finance office. It's got carpet in it. We calculated it back that it's been down for 33 years. It's wore out, has major stains everywhere, and it has an odor to it. It's kind of a running joke up in the finance office that a lot of people that come in, the first thing they do is start sneezing and coughing.
Yeah.
It's almost got to a point to where it could be a health hazard. We were trying to see how we could remedy that, and what we thought about maybe is if we could get all that taken up and put down a vinyl plank, something that lasts a tremendous amount of time. So I had a couple of quotes to be able to do that. Biggest thing is there's about 2,000 square foot up there. That's everything except the back storage room and the bathroom, which has tile. One of the biggest issues is having a company come in. There's 6 workspaces there, which means 6 desks, bookshelves, a tremendous amount of filing cabinets, tables. There's a lot of stuff that has to be moved to take up the carpet and put the flooring down, so it's a little bit of time-consuming thing. I got 2 quotes. Lowe's came in and did all the measuring and gave us a quote of $17,951.92. And May Carpet came in, measured, and gave us a quote for $11,421. Now, May is the lowest quote, and I actually called and talked to them about kind of a time frame to get it put on. You know, we can't just shut down the finance office for a week or so while they do it, and they said they would be more than willing to work with us on our timeline if they could come in maybe on the middle of the day on a Friday and work back in the conference room and the hallway, and then we'd be out of there at 5 o'clock on Friday. They could work Friday evening, hopefully Saturday and Sunday, and have the majority of it done. If they weren't finished, they could come back the next weekend and finish it. That way it wouldn't disrupt any business in that office.
So here's what I'd like to do, if we could. There's a couple other carpet stores here in town. You got Bentley's Carpet and some others. Mays is from Paintsville, and I like my friends in Johnson County, but I would prefer we see if we could find somebody that could do it cheaper from here in the county.
Well, from what I understand, we got the quote from Lowe's, but from what I understand, we contacted Bentley and they didn't even show up to try to measure or give us a quote.
Let's check with Bentley's again and try to see if we could get a couple of other companies, the local carpet companies, before we hire somebody from another county.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I'd like to pass over that. You okay with that?
Okay,
I'd rather keep the money here if we can. If we can't, if they
Right.
give us a better price, then by law, I think we're bound to go out of the county.
Right.
But let's see if we can't get, that carpet's been there like that for a long time. Let's give it a week or two and see if we can't find some local county, Pike County company that
Right.
might be able to
That'll be
do it.
fine. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. All right. We got the road supervisor's report. Fabian, you got anything you need to add? How are we coming on our paving?
That's the only thing I was gonna say, Judge, I'll be short and sweet. We was able to pave,
Every day last week. We were able to pick up this week, but of course, today we've been rained out, so, but, you know, we did good last week and we'll do good this week.
Okay.
So we're getting it down. And
Thank you.
actually, we did finish up on the Upper Terrytown Bridge. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be done on the Johnson Bottom Bridge.
All right, then what's the next one after that?
Well, we're either going to go to Rough Hollow or we're going to go to that Watson Bridge there that's straight across from the Belfry Road Department.
Right.
That bridge there, it's one of those two.
Okay. I'd like to do the Watson one first if we could.
And, well, then that's what we'll do. You
I've been
decide.
I've been promising that would get done
Yeah.
for some time, and
So that's where we're going next then, is
Okay.
Watson.
that would be much appreciated. Okay.
Okay.
So, is there a motion to approve the completed and scheduled work orders for the road department?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Absher, is there a
Second.
second? Well, Commissioner Atkins, second by Commissioner Absher. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Before we do treasurer's business, Bobby is off today. He had a doctor's appointment. There's just 2 matters of personnel. It would be my motion to approve, acknowledge moving James Thompson from a 5H mechanic to road foreman, lot 4, at a 4A rate of pay effective 9/16/24, and to acknowledge resignation of Grant Joyce from the seasonal labor of the special crew effective 9/6/24. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Scott. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Before we do treasurer's business, I need to look over a couple things on this. Can we take about a 10-minute recess and return to call the chair? I need to talk to Chet to just verify that, those numbers on the, yeah. All right, we'll be in recess and return to call the chair. That was there was a mistake on that we caught on the library district tax rate. So it would be my motion to rescind the acknowledgement of the library tax rates until they can have a special meeting later in the week to clarify that, because it was, I think it may have been just a mistake in the letter. So it was my motion to rescind the acknowledgement of the tax rates.
I'll second it.
With second by Commissioner Atkins, all in favor, Madam Clerk, vote aye. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes, okay. So we're gonna have a special meeting probably Monday instead of Friday. They're gonna have a special library board meeting to address that. Then we'll take it from there, okay? Now, trick or treat, we have spoken to the city manager. It will be my motion that we have trick or treat on Thursday, October 31st, 2024, from 6 to 8 p.m.
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Absher. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by
Me.
Commissioner Atkins. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Now, we're going to go to treasurer's business. Frankie, I was just looking at this. One of the things I want to have a conversation that as we get a little bit farther into figuring out what we're doing on this landfill project, is we have the landfill CD is up to it's over $5 million. We need to have some kind of realistic idea about what that number needs to be.
Hey, Judge, with the new permitting, the new permit that they recalculated the escrow amount that we need to put into the landfill. So starting this year, the auditors have recalculated that from the new permit, and we're going to have to up it to about, I don't remember the number exactly off the top of my head, like $230,000 from like 130.
The simple fact of the matter is, Frankie, we know for a fact, based on a conversation I had with the engineer, that the fiscal court previously asked for a number that was the best case scenario. So it was underfunded, that escrow account, it's $130,000. It should have been probably in the $200,000 or more range for every year, but it is still underfunded. We have caught it up substantially, but with the new permit. Now, flip side of it is, but depending on what we end up doing with this permit, whether we actually end up going through with the current permit plan, may or may not need that much money, but that is something that we're going to have to look at.
Right, okay.
So it may be that we have to increase, it may be that we won't, depending on what we end up doing. All right, let me look at something real quick. I mean, really, the county's got $5 million sitting in a CD to cover the post-closure cost. And, that's a lot of money to have tied up. I mean, it's a lot of money. But we'll see what we end up doing. All right, now, Frankie, treasurer's business.
Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's monthly financial statement ending August 31st, 2024.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's monthly financial statement ending August 31st, 2024?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins. I'll make a second. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the sheriff and clerk's 2550 reports for August.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the sheriff and clerk's 2550 reports for August 2024?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Absher. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Authorize checks for lodging, registration, and expenses for any employee who needs to attend the 50th Annual CAECO Fall Conference, November 13th through the 15th at the Galt House Hotel in Louisville.
Is there a motion to authorize checks for the CAECO conference, November 13th to 15th, the Galt House for lodging, registration, expenses?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Atkins. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Last thing I have would be to authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated September 16th, plus any other utility bills received before we run checks.
Is there a motion to authorize as stated by the treasurer?
Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Scott, second
I'll second.
by Commissioner Atkins. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Absher?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. Department supervisors, anything from anybody? We got Bruce Collins here. I want Bruce to come up. Bruce is wanting to talk to us a little bit about trying to create some pickleball courts. He's not the only person that's talked to me about this. It's probably the fastest growing sport. Go right ahead, Bruce. Diane, go right ahead.
Thank y'all for allowing me to come over for a few minutes. Of course, I know I only get seen around here when I come to ask for something, but I've been pretty productive. I want to thank you all for everything you've done for us over at Belfry in the last few years. I know we've got some new concession stands at the Hardy Fields, the pool running. Last year we had all three baseball fields running with over, I think, 280 kids playing youth baseball and softball. So any help we can get, we always appreciate. We usually do fare out pretty well when we come and ask you guys for something. One of the things that we've been doing over there recently is Williamson has put in and started the pickleball program, but they have put in 3 courts. Now, the cost of 3 courts is exceeding a little bit of what I think we might ought to invest initially, because you're looking at probably $40,000 for 3 courts. We do have 2 tennis courts at Hardy currently. The school uses those to practice on, the high school tennis team. Tim McNamee is the high school tennis coach. And I talked with him before I even started to approach this, and he was like, why don't we just paint lines on one of the existing tennis courts? Let's give the community a chance to show that they're going to use it before we put in a whole lot of money. And if they show they're going to use it, then we can look at moving further with the little nicer courts in the future. Paul Winks and I went up and looked at the courts the other day. They're in real good shape. There's a couple places that may need resurfaced. We've got room there for, and a little bit about pickleballs. That's one of the things I wanted to get to first before I tell you some of the costs on it. It's a sport that anybody, so everything we do seems to be geared toward getting the youth out in our parks and getting the youth there to play ball games and stuff like that. But this is something that we can get our senior citizens out, our people in their 20s, 30s, 40s. At Williamson, there's people that play from 6. There's a lady named Ann. She plays with us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and she's 82. So everybody can mix right in. It gives them something to do, a place to go. And we all know over there we've got a lot of business over there, a lot of tax-paying businesses, but we don't have a lot of entertainment for our people over there. There's not much to do over there. Our movie theater's gone, so we don't have much other than our parks. So this is something that I think could get the community together and give them a place to go to have a little bit of first some exercise, but also some socialization and just something for them to do besides sitting around the house. So Paul Winks and I went up there and looked at the courts. There's room to paint 4 courts on that first tennis court as you go in. And we can paint those sideways. That would give us plenty of room in between the courts. And it will still leave the existing lines for the tennis court, so it'd be dual purpose. You could play pickleball or tennis. One of the things I think that should be stressed, though, is if we are able to do this, that the high school tennis team should still have precedent if they need to practice, have a place to practice. Yet there's 2 courts, so Tim McNamee, the coach, plays pickleball with us as well, and he said, it wouldn't be a problem that would work around everything. But For the cost, so you're looking at, probably four portable nets, those are $900 a piece, so about $3,600 for nets. I spoke with Tim Reed. Now, Tim Reed is the one that done the courts in Williamson. He said that if we could get this done, if the court would be kind enough to extend the cost of this to cover painting the lines, or buying the paint and the nets, that he would donate the labor to paint the lines on the court. Just as his part of giving to the community, to give them a place to have something to do. So, I mean, there's one little place I think that needs resurfaced, but it would just be a little bit of patchwork. So I think we could get 4 courts up there, for probably under $5,000.
So what would it cost to build 4 courts?
Cost to build, so you're looking at probably around $10,000 per court.
Because Greg, is anybody playing pickleball over, because Greg was a avid tennis player, and I know we've got the courts at Phelps. Is anybody even using the Phelps courts for tennis now?
If we ever know, and that's something that we discussed, we'd like to be able to maybe try to convert that court over to Johnson Bottom to pickleball court and see if it gets some use, if it gets 0 use as a tennis court.
Right.
My only concern, Bruce, is that it interferes with the tennis team, and, you know, the problem taking nets up, taking nets down. I would not be opposed to building a couple of new courts over there. I mean,
So there's plenty of room right in front of there, where the 2 tennis courts are now, at Hardy. You've got that whole area there that's, I mean, it's just vacant. That's where they took up the putt-putt. So I'm thinking,
Paul, can you come up for a second? I mean, when I was growing up, they built courts at the Robinson Creek School. You know, some of these properties where they built courts, are no longer owned by the Board of Education.
right.
And so we got 2 places. I mean, Paul, how, could we construct these courts, or would we have to hire somebody to do it?
We could probably do, most of it, you know, the biggest problem is, you know, is asphalt, you know, and a fence around it and striping it, so.
I mean, would you do it with asphalt, or would you do it with some other surface?
So the way it works, it's kind of like, you've been around tennis, so it's kind of like laying down a tennis court. There's actually, you do your asphalt, and you know, it has to have the certain little slope rate so that you don't have puddles of water if you do get some rain, so it's not standing on it and going through. But there is a resurfacer that goes underneath first, and then the paint, of course, that goes on, and that's your cost, is that and the resurfacer and the paint.
We've done the tennis court at Johnson Bottom, resurfaced, after we had it resurfaced, and we've done the paint and the whole course.
Is anybody even using the tennis court?
I have not
for
seen
tennis at
nobody
Johnson Bottom.
over there.
So why don't we do this? We're gonna come back here for a special meeting on Monday. Why don't you and Paul get together and put a proposal together before Monday, get us, Greg can help with this, to convert the Phelps court into a pickleball court, what that would cost, and to construct 3 or 4 new courts at, because I really don't want to interfere with the tennis team
Right.
over there.
Correct.
Like I said,
I agree.
then, because if you're having lines marked for a tennis court,
It's hard to see.
and then you're creating a whole new problem, it'd be sort of like putting, sort of like when they put a volleyball markings on a basketball floor, it's sort of.
And Judge, one of the things that Tim and I, one of the conversations that we had, we're hoping that and this would just make it that much better if we could do this, if we can introduce some of these kids in middle school to a racket sport, that's just gonna, you know, the tennis scholarships in the state last year, there were some that didn't even get given out. So, you know, you don't have a lot of kids that are playing tennis, but if you introduce them to a racket sport a little earlier in life, then they may pick up that tennis racket in high school.
Well, I think there's a lot of people, you know, my age and older that are playing it, and we do need, I mean, we've got high rates of diabetes, heart disease.
I played 3 hours the other night and burned 1,050 calories in 3 hours. So.
And you know, we need to have people out of the house being more active, as a quality of life issue. I was in Lexington, maybe it was the last conference we had down there. And there was a massive number of people out behind the Marriott playing pickleball. I mean, it was, you couldn't, and I've seen courts just Lexington, in other places where you'll see people playing pickleball. And I mean, I've never played it, don't know much about it, but it's a fast-growing sport because it's lower impact.
It's the fastest growing sport in the last 3 years. Yeah.
So,
But there's at least probably 20 of us that drive from over there over to the Y every Wednesday or Sunday to play.
well, I would like to just see what it would cost to build, because, Hardy Park, I've always said I wanted it to be one of the flagship parks.
Correct.
If it works there, then maybe at Dorton Park and some of the other parks, we can try to do that down the road. But, there's a lot of people in Pond Creek that are playing. I've had people talk to me about, doing something at Pike Central. That's not Pitt County property. We
Right.
can't, we can't work on school board property. But, I would like to convert the one at Phelps to a
Well,
pickleball court if nobody's using it. And
I
then,
think too, Judge, if you can do the ones at Hardy, if we can get that done, that with what paint that you would buy, because I think it comes in 55-gallon drums.
It does.
You would have enough left to go ahead and paint your courts over there. So limit that cost. And I can get that from Tim
can
Reed.
you get me an estimate put together, by Monday?
I can.
You
I'll get
can
Tim
with
Reed.
Greg. Is that what you all want over there, Greg? Because I've sort of let Greg take up the reconstruction of the park at Johnson Bottom.
Yeah, I would like to see the Freedman Court converted to a pickleball court. There's some interest over there. They have a little private community church facility in Phelps where church groups come. And they've got a pickleball court there. Anytime there's a group up there, there's people playing pickleball.
Well, I mean,
You've got a lot of people, Greg, from Mate too, that come to Williamson to play that I know would be right there to play. If you build a court, there'll be people
I
playing.
mean, I want to say this. 6 years ago, when I became judge, you had 2 county-owned swimming pools. They both have been shut down for, how long have they been shut down, Paul?
At least 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, both the pools have been shut down.
Right.
We've opened both those pools up. We've got the leak fixed at Phelps. We've got them running. I mean, Paul has worked really hard. We've took out all that old stuff over at Johnson Bottom, new roof on that one.
Dugouts and resurfaced 3 fields at Hardy and Black
Yeah.
Gym the last 2 years.
And then we're working on the one at the Grapevine. We've got stuff going on there. I mean, these parks, I literally don't know where the money was spent. I don't know. I mean, they didn't have equipment to work with on the solid waste lots. They didn't have equipment to work with on the road lots. The parks were shut down. We've opened a trail system. I mean, we've actually tried to do some things to improve quality of life, and sometimes I don't think people realize that. But, the pool's open, parks reconstructed, trail system open. I would like to build these pickleball courts to see what it costs, because it may not be during my time as judge, but if this sport keeps growing, you're gonna have people wanting them in Shelby Valley, you're gonna have
Exactly.
people wanting them on Elkhorn Creek. I can see, and we need to get a model, what it's gonna cost to do that.
And I can tell you that the 3 in Williamson, of course, they had the basketball court before, and they had to resurface it, but I think they had about $31,000 in 3 there. And that was buying the nets, painting, putting the resurfacer down and everything.
Well, you've got one on Blackberry too, up beside I mean, I personally don't know why they built so many tennis courts, because this has never been the hotbed of tennis.
Right.
I mean, not a lot of people play tennis.
I think it's kind of like it was over there, if some of y'all probably remember playing baseball at Hardy Park when you was in high school. Some of the schools didn't have facilities where they had tennis or a baseball field, so we had to rely on the county that long ago, to have
But,
tennis courts
at
and baseball
Virgin-
fields.
At Virgin, we never had a tennis team. I
Right.
mean, we never had any kind of organized tennis up there. But I would like to get, go ahead and get an estimate. I would like to try to build some pickleball courts at Hardy Park to see if we can do it, see if it's feasible to do it economically. And it will give us an opportunity to see if people in the county, in the various communities want to do it. If we build them and nobody uses them, then we're gonna know that, well, we don't need to do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we use it and a lot of people are using it, then that's what we want.
Yeah, I think that they will, the few people that I've talked to, because I didn't talk to a lot of people about it, but the few that I've talked to, even a lot of our high school kids, you'll drive by and you'll see them hanging around Black Gym and they're playing spike ball or whatever, and I'm not sure, I couldn't tell you nothing about spike ball. But that would also give them a place to go, besides just out there on the soccer field where they're in grass and water and everything else, because, they could use that whenever nobody else is using it for pickleball.
Yeah.
And our kids, I mean, they gotta have some place to go that they can still be kids.
I can say this, growing up in Virgie, we didn't have a park. I mean, there was no playground. Fabian was one of the lifeguards at the pool, but that was during the summer. From the time school started back until, May of the next year, I mean, there's nothing for us to do.
Right.
I mean, that was the bad downside of growing up out in the county. There was just nothing to do.
And
Unless you
You
drove.
found a friend with a big backyard.
What's that?
You found a friend with a big backyard.
Right.
Or you drove somewhere.
Yeah, just like you were talking earlier, though, with taxes and everything else and the economy and the situation it is, and, like I said, we don't have a movie theater, and just the cost of any of our people getting access to any type of entertainment, even to go to a movie, they gotta drive to Pike, they gotta go to Logan to go to a movie. And that's just, I never thought that I would see that day that we didn't have a place for people to go to a movie theater.
Well, I mean, in reality,
Yeah.
you live out in the county,
Right.
as we continue to lose population, it's gonna get worse.
That's exactly right. And
I
I think,
mean-
just like you said, the high rates of obesity, diabetes and stuff like that. And again, our seniors, this is something that they can enjoy. They can get out and play pickleball, because one of the biggest things about it that I've noticed is, whether they're people you're playing with are really good or they're beginners, they will play to the level. I mean, you'll see people out there that's in their 40s playing with 6-year-olds, just to keep them active playing the game. And it's just such a great sport to include everyone and again, keep them moving, keep them healthy.
Well, we'll know we have a special fiscal court meeting Monday. If you all can get together and get us some estimates on it, Greg will have to work pretty hard to put it together. But my take on it is, Paul, if you can do it, and we can do it cheaper by doing it in-house,
We can do most of it now.
then we can contract out the rest, because it's gonna be under the bidding amount, so. Is that good, Bruce?
Sounds wonderful to me.
All right.
More than what I was going to ask for, so I
All
really
right, well,
appreciate it.
no, I mean, it's growing that much.
It is.
And I don't want to mess the tennis courts up, because they do have a tennis team at Belfort.
And that's the reason Tim and I talked and sat down and thought about it long and hard before we even thought about painting the lines. But again, I think it's a great thing that the community also, I know you said that, and I've dealt with it a bunch. There's a bunch of people who like to post things on Facebook, spread rumors and lies and all that, yet they're not the ones that have come over here and advocate for their community.
No, they just
I
want to
think
get
that our
on
community-
Facebook and spread rumors and,
Yeah.
and, yeah, it's
I
just,
think our community needs to show whenever they do get something like this, we need to come together and show that we are going to use it, we're going to keep it clean, we're going to take care of it and
Well,
appreciate it.
in your former profession, in law enforcement, if we can give kids something to do,
exactly
give the
right.
youth something to do, there's a lot less likelihood of them ending up in the court
Absolutely.
system.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we'll talk to you, see you Monday.
Thank you much.
Thanks, sir. All right. Any other business that needs to come before the court today?
Anything from Commissioner Atkins?
Yes, Judge. The road department has been renting a D6 through Boyd Cat for special projects. We've rented it for quite some time. I'd like because it's down to where I think we could purchase that dozer pretty cheap versus the payment on it. I'd like for somebody maybe to contact our sales rep, James Akers, and talk to him about it. I think we could get that dozer at a real reasonable price, and it's beneficial. You can ask Fabian on it. It's a good-looking dozer. I mean,
Judge, to give you a little background on that.
Come up here.
A little background on the dozer was that during the flood, that July flood, we had to have the dozer. And, well, since then, after that, it's all the bridges we were putting in, every bridge we done, we had to have a dozer on. And so we just kept the rental up. And he is correct, as I would say, that as long as we've rented that dozer, and it's still practically a brand-new dozer, we could probably purchase that fairly cheap.
Would they give us a credit on the rent that's been paid on?
They would, yes. Yes, they would. And I mean, if you would like me to, I can get with James, and then at the next meeting, I can get you what that price would be. Yeah, that's fine. Because,
We can see what they're willing to do.
yeah,
Because your still will probably have to put it out to bid.
I don't, well, you might, but I would say that it's gonna be down there so low that you wouldn't have to.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's the under 40,000.
That's what, and I think you're gonna be there.
Well, Caterpillar's out of state contract, so we wouldn't really have to put it out for bid, I wouldn't think.
They don't say no. Oh, well, if you could get it under 40, yeah.
I think that that's where you're gonna be at too. I think you'll be under that number.
Is it pretty good shape too?
Still brand new.
Let's get, you all get together, and we'll be back here Monday, we can just get.
Okay.
Jeannie will have to have it Friday.
Never mind.
That's fine.
Anything else, brother?
no, oh, yeah, I do have something. I'm proud of my 19-year-old daughter. Last Tuesday, she graduated from beautician school. And she's worked hard, 1,500 hours, and she's just waiting on the state boards, and I want to brag on her a little bit. She's worked a full-time job, went to beauty school, and she's done great. I just wanted to brag on Emily, that's my oldest daughter.
Congratulations, tell her congratulations.
That's it, Judge.
Commissioner Ashton?
Well, we was talking about the parks and stuff, and I want to thank Mr. Paul Williams back there. They have straightened that Grapevine Park up. They had a singing up there Saturday night, and they talked about the stage and stuff that they had fixed up, and all that clutter is gone out of there. And the park was,
Part better since the trailer's done.
it looked real good. And, you know, I just thank everybody on the court and those fellas that put in the work and do the things that they do. I appreciate them. And I know the people of the county appreciate them.
Well, when I was, you know, when I got elected, that was one of the commitments I made, is to try to revitalize some of these parks, because a lot of them, I mean, you know, you went over to, we were over at Grapevine, and the roots were growing up under the walking track to the point it wasn't safe. I mean, you don't want an elderly person trying to get some exercise and tripping and fall. I mean, there's just a lot of those little things that need to be done. Over at Johnson Bottom, they had bought a pitching machine and built a batting cage and left the pitching machine just sitting out in the weather. It'd been sitting out in the weather for years. I mean, you can't leave stuff like that sitting out. The skateboard course, now nobody used it, but you could take a 50-gallon garbage can, wouldn't hold the garbage that was inside of it. You know, just a lot of millions of dollars were spent on these parks and playgrounds to put them in. And they just let them fall into disrepair, and it's embarrassing. But I'm gonna say this, as we go forward, we're gonna have to take a hard look at what parks and playgrounds we keep open. We have fewer people here. In 1980, you had 81,000, we're somewhere around 56,000. And you have gone from 12.5 million a year in coal and mineral severance in 2009 to about 2 million now. It's 2.25 last year, I think, Frankie. That's what we collected. So as we go forward with no coal severance tax, or, you know, coal and mineral severance being so low, I mean, there's just been a lot of wasted money. You got the park at Johnson Bottom. You go to Freeburn, you got another park. You go up to the mouth of Woodman, you got 3 parks. Greg, what is that, 5-6 minute drive?
4 or 5 miles apart.
4 or 5 miles apart, you got 3 parks. You can't afford that. You know, I'd like to take my kids to Disneyland 3 or 4 times a year. I can't afford that. You know, most people can't afford that. I mean, the county has to live within its means. And, you know, they squandered millions and millions of dollars with nothing to show for it. And when I leave this office, I'm gonna make sure we've got our infrastructure in the best shape it is, because it's been neglected for so long. But going forward, we need to decide. I mean, you've got Hardy Park. Bruce was here talking about it. You go across the hill into Blackberry, you got 2 parks on Blackberry. Can you afford 2 parks on Blackberry? In my opinion, no. But you've got them. We just need to focus on what? The bigger parks, that's where you ought to spend your money. In some of the smaller parks, we're gonna have to look at whether they stay open or not, because quite candidly, there's some of these parks that nobody at all uses. The prettiest sunny day of the year, and there ain't nobody using them. So, you know, you can have a bunch of big, nice parks, or you can have a whole bunch of them that are run down that you can't take care of. And that's what the people's gonna have to decide. So, but I agree with you. Commissioner Scott?
I just like to think all the workers seem like everything's going good in the county, and I appreciate everything everybody does. You know, everybody that works for us, and that's about all I got, really.
Thank you, sir. All right, I don't have anything. Is there any other business come before the court? Roy, y'all got anything? Paul, y'all got anything, county attorney's office? All right, with that being said, I don't want to ask Pastor Absher, Commissioner Absher, to say the benediction, and then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
We thank you, Heavenly Father, once again, as we approach our throne of grace for all the things you do for us, for allowing us to be here this day, and watching over us and helping us. And I pray, Lord, everything we do is beneficial for the county. I thank the judge and the commissioners and all that work for this board, that they do a good job, and that we appreciate them. And I just pray, Lord, that you'll go with us this day. And if we fail you in any way, Lord, forgive us and watch over us. In Jesus' name I pray, and amen.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion. I'll make a second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins? Yes. Commissioner Absher?
Yeah.
Judge Jones?
Yes, we are adjourned.